So, you like us? You really, really like us? Well, let's make it official. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. TMV Cafe.
You're listening to San Antonio's only independent artist station. TMV Cafe Radio.
Urban legends about terrorism come in many forms. Sometimes words alone can instill mortal fear, especially when they're from an unseen source. But just because the threat is invisible doesn't mean that it's far away.
You are so lucky. You don't know how lucky you are. You're impossibly lucky. And what I found out later was apparently you can't survive the carbon monoxide levels that I have in my blood.
There's some creepy things. There's also we also try to put some very emotional stories in there. We try to put stories in that have some kind of historical sensibility to them. We try to find stories about animals, because there are a lot of very interesting paranormal stories that revolve around animals.
The spirit world surrounds us. They try to tell us things. Sometimes you might feel a breeze, a coldness, a damp spot in the house. It's through these mediums that they make their presence known.
Oh boy, I know that music. That music must mean it is the time. The time for...
It's time.
What time is it? Oh, no. It's time for Paranormal, ladies and gentlemen. And if you don't have your lights on, you might want to do that and cuddle up with a loved one, because tonight we are going to be talking about some creepy, well, maybe not so creepy, but something...
Creepy.
Creepy. One, it might make you stay away from swimming pools or water, especially if you feel a little wicked. Anyway, we've got an awesome guest for you tonight, and we've got some great guests coming up. We got a brand new Electric Wizard mix for our midway break. We got EVPs. We got lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my. Wait. Okay, so I'm just a comedian waiting to be flushed. Tonight, we do have, straight from Haunted Salem, Miss Christina Corsetti.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Thank you for having me on.
Our pleasure.
We are excited to have you. Annie has been talking about you for quite some time now, and now that we have you, I don't know what we're going to do.
We're not going to let you go.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That's awesome.
She insisted you cannot leave.
Nope. I've been on that page for about a year now and been reading. I was like, we have got to get this lady on here.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've been doing Haunted Salem for almost about 10 years now.
What got you into it?
I've always been interested in the paranormal, and it just one day I just decided. Well, it all started when I was with somebody that I wasn't allowed to be on Facebook with. Mm-hmm. He didn't want me to have a Facebook account, and that's where Haunted Salem actually got created, because when you can't do something, you want to do it more, right?
Right.
Of course.
And so that's what I did. I ended up creating Haunted Salem, and I just thought it would be great to have a page where I could just lay everything down and randomly and teach. I teach a lot of people all the time, and I just think it's great. It's a passion I have, and I'm glad it's there for everybody.
Well, it is funny that you mentioned the teach, because one of the things that I've learned a lot as long as I've been doing this is there's so many undereducated people when it comes to the paranormal. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand where it actually comes from, why that's the case, but... Okay, I do, but I just wanted to get you to answer that.
I don't know why that's the case, why that is. It is what it is, mm-hmm. And you have people like us that pretty much educate, and I talk to people all day long, and I just think it's fantastic. I meet a lot of new people. I consider family nowadays, right. And just to have that is great. So,
well, I think I'm throwing this out here as the biggest reason that I've ever learned from other teams and other people as well. But when it comes to the undereducation, is they watch these shows like, and I'm not disrespecting the
exactly
Ghost Hunter guys, but they watch shows like that and they turn around and think, oh, I can get a flashlight and a tape recorder and go be a ghost or a paranormal investigator, and that's actually not the case.
No, not really. And a lot of those shows, they're what do you call it, for the camera, you know what I mean?
Right.
And
it's more entertainment.
Yes.
Than actual doing something.
Yes. Right. So I don't really watch those shows just because of that fact, you know what I mean?
Oh, I don't blame you. I mean, I couldn't do that either.
It ruins it for people, you know?
Well, I did. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. I have watched them. I think the very first year of Ghost Hunters was the best year ever because it was real investigations. It wasn't for the entertainment purpose. It was after that it started turning into that. The one show that I did watch that I could only watch one episode of because I just died in laughter after that was, I think it's called Ghost Adventures. The one with,
okay.
Is that the one?
Sonic?
Yeah, with Zach Baggins.
Yeah.
The Hobbit.
Adventures, Taps.
Yeah.
No, that's not Taps.
Zach and
Ghost Adventures.
Yeah.
Aaron and Nick.
Yeah.
So the first episode I ever watched was probably their first ever episode, and they were at Bobby Mackey's.
Nice.
And,
that's farther in. But
oh, is it? Okay, well, it was
you know how I feel about that place.
Yeah, well, I mean, what made me die in laughter was, okay, you know how the first thing is these guys are showing themselves as tough. You know, we can do any kind of investigation. We're getting locked in. That's how brave we are. And then this guy's complaining about hearing something bang in the bathroom, and then when it happens again, he darn near runs the camera guy over. And I'm rolling in laughter, and I'm thinking,
running.
Yes, that's what he's screaming the whole time. And the reason I'm rolling in laughter is because, you know, when you go into these places, you have to know that there's some element of danger because you're doing this in the dark.
Yes.
So,
as I said, the basement is so pitted, and it's so hard to walk on. And if you're in the dark, you're going to end up breaking something.
Right. Well,
breaking your butt or breaking an ankle.
The great thing about that
was the scariest part.
The great thing about this episode is my good friend Bishop Long is at the end of this, and he tells him, you cannot call out demons to do stuff to you. You just can't do it. It's the worst thing you can do. And
now, why does everybody go in the dark for investigations? Ever think of that? You can do them during the day.
That's been my question, because when people complain about hauntings in their houses, they're not in the dark, you know?
Yeah, not all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear voices and I got lights on all over the place.
Yeah, I've caught many EVPs during the day.
Yeah.
You know?
And why does the setting have to be somber? You know,
exactly.
I've been on teams that while they're laughing and having a good time, spirits leave some amazing EVPs.
Oh yes.
So it is.
I don't know. I think it's more theatrical effects because it's dark and everybody's afraid of the dark, and
that's where the fear comes from.
I know. I am.
I'm not afraid of the dark. The only thing I'm afraid of is tripping over something. That's what I'm afraid of.
Well, I do that all the time with the cats. Especially, I got 6 black cats, and if the hall's dark or something's dark, you can't see them.
Oh, wow. Just their eyes, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And I should be looking down, but I don't. And end up falling over one of them.
Yeah. You can. I've actually. Well, that is a good question. I have to ask you this, Christina. Have you ever had any animal EVPs?
No, I have not. I have a lot of howls and moans and groans, but I don't think I've ever caught an animal EVP. Yeah.
Ooh. I've actually heard some people talk about having a feeling of a cat rub their leg.
Oh yeah.
I've had that. And
but
jumping on the bed when there's no cats on the bed. And of course, with cats, you know what it feels like when they jump on the bed.
yes.
Yes.
Well, that's another one that I've actually heard a lot of people feel like their pet is haunting them because after the pet's passed on, they still feel like the pet jumps on the bed.
Yeah.
But there was one incident, and I've got to ask you about this too, what you think. Somebody had talked to me once about, now I can't divulge names because it was a client, but they were telling me about an incident where, one of their spouses passed on, and they felt somebody lay down in bed next to them, but not only did they feel it, you could see the indentions happening.
Yes. Yep. And it happens a lot. I mean, but that is amazing though to see that indent in the bed.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I told my wife, if that ever happens, honey, I'm selling the house and you got the next people.
And who's to say not every house is haunted? You know what I mean? Or who's
Yeah.
to say it isn't haunted, but you just don't have those abilities to see or hear? You know what I mean?
True. That's true. Now, we got to go to Haunted Salem.
Sure.
Now, a lot of people talk about Salem, and I guess what they need to understand is we are talking about the Salem, not Salem, Oregon, folks. The Salem, where the famous witch trials were put on. That's why I said in the beginning, if you feel wicked, stay away from water.
Yes.
So,
I'm melting.
right. So
Yeah, okay.
I have to wonder when this all started, did you decide to go investigate some of these areas where the trials had been?
Well, I've been doing it my whole life anyway, living down here.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, this is where I was born, and, I graduated out of Salem High School. So just being
okay.
a part in Salem, there's so many places where you can go and just, throw on a recording, do some audio or take some pictures. I mean, every picture I've taken in Salem has come out with some amazing features and faces all over the place.
Right.
So, I mean, Salem is amazing, though, as far as haunted locations is concerned.
Right.
Yeah, it's one place that's on my bucket list.
Oh, it's beautiful
Hopefully
down here.
next year. Definitely.
As opposed to, and I guess I need to get my bearings, and I know it's going to make me sound bad for the moment, but that's okay. As opposed to the famous, darn it, I can't think of it now, Annie. We always talk about it, and I can't think of it. The big cemetery from the Civil War.
Like Union?
No, the.
Oh, Gettysburg.
Gettysburg, thank
No?
you. I'm trying. Yeah,
Oh.
that's it. I was trying to.
Okay.
All these names are coming to my head, but not that one. As opposed to
Okay.
Gettysburg, how far off is Salem?
Well, it's about 8 hours.
8 hours. Okay.
Yeah, we've been
Yep.
to Massachusetts. I haven't been to Salem. We were going to Maine. And
Oh,
we
okay.
went to
Yeah, it's
Massachusetts.
about 45 minutes away from Maine.
Okay.
Really? We
Yeah,
were
it's not
that
that far.
close?
Yep.
Do you
Oh, for goodness sake.
do you ever find any cross hauntings, so to say? Like some Civil War incidents?
Not that I've come across. No.
I don't know if there was any battles up there
Well, it
in
doesn't.
Massachusetts. Not during the Civil War.
Well, the only thing I was thinking is that, because you still have, like, Washington, D.C., or, Washington area, has had reports of seeing Civil War characters, as far as apparitions. So I wasn't quite
Oh,
sure.
yeah, that was because they had, like, hospitals in D.C. and
Right. And
of
you...
course, so close to Virginia and Maryland, with which they had battles and stuff.
Right. And you think about it, though, I'm sure that's not the only place they went to for hauntings and stuff.
No.
A lot of the apparitions they see in Salem are that of vintage clothing, back in the day, the bonnets, stuff like that, and they see a lot of pirates, especially down near the water.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I would think it would be more revolutionary type because the
True.
Massachusetts and stuff.
That's a good point too, Annie. I never thought about that. And in fact, in all the teams we've ever talked to, I've never heard any of them talk about revolutionary hauntings.
No, and see, with me being so into the Civil War, and that's a shame because I know there's so many places, even here in Maryland, that, where the Battle of North Point was fought in 1812 is where I lived, and we had a lot of activity in that house. So, yeah, but I'm just hooked on the Civil War, so it's a shame.
Well, I mean,
I need to broaden my horizons here.
No, Civil War is very fascinating, but I mean, and it's addicting. I will say that it is addicting because of the history that falls behind it. But there's a history in Salem alone that, I think could we say is the ugly side of America that some people don't want to face anymore.
True. I mean, with everything that goes on, I would say that absolutely.
Right. What is the most?
The witch trials and everything like that, and
yeah. What do you think is the most memorable, event that you've experienced with your investigations?
Oh, I experienced a lot of things, especially on the demonic side too. I actually just posted on my page about getting slimed out in New Hampshire.
Really?
We were at a demonic case, and we were doing EVPs, and we were sitting around in a circle, and I was Indian style on the rug, and I felt something, and when I got up, I have this big, huge stain on my butt, and the rug where I was sitting was not wet, and it came up through the floor, and it was ectoplasm on my pants. It was a big round circle. I actually posted it on my page about a couple hours ago, and just to share the experience with people. And it's amazing because it was like a sticky residue, and it wouldn't dry on its own either. I'd have to wash my pants to get it off of there, but that was pretty cool to experience. I don't have a lot of abilities that my team does have. A lot of my team is, being empaths and being able to see and hear the other side. I don't really have that. So, I go by my pendulum. I go by spells. I go by, gut instinct. And sometimes I can feel things before they happen, type of thing. But other than that, people tell me all the time that I have abilities, but I have to tune myself into them.
Right.
And I'm so busy that I don't know if I want to tune myself into them. you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I don't want to get bombarded with being able to hear them all and not being able to stop it. And...
Well, we had a guest on a while back who did that, and she wanted to come to Gettysburg, but she was so afraid to do that just for what you said.
Yeah, they can't shut it off. Sometimes they have to learn how to shut it off like a switch, and sometimes they can't. And when you can, it's really overwhelming. You know what I mean? Especially when you're an empathic, because you feel everything around you. You can feel, everything, and it's overwhelming to people.
Right. I'm gonna offer something here for the listeners. If you want, I know we're having an issue with the chat room, so if you want to tweet a question to Christina tonight, you can do that. Just follow us on Twitter. It's at TMV Cafe. And as the questions come in, I'll be glad to answer or ask them. Ask them to Christina. Boy, live radio. You just can't edit those things out.
No, that's okay.
But we'll ask Christina your questions. So if you want to, just tweet us at TMV Cafe, one word.
One of the things I was wondering, do they have, and I'm sure that they do, have some very interesting cemeteries up there?
Oh yeah, the
That
stones go way back to the 1600s, if not
right.
earlier.
Have you
Um,
gotten anything out of? Did you go into the cemeteries?
oh yeah, yeah, I go in them all the
Okay.
time. I used to hang out with them when I was a teenager.
Oh, I love cemeteries.
Oh, I love them too. Just to hang out there under a tree and I draw, you know. But the cemeteries out there, the stones are just amazing. Just to
Hmm.
see the old stones and you walk around, but you can't go in there at night. You will definitely get arrested.
What do you think the fascination is with cemeteries? Why do people think that the spirits might linger there?
Probably because that's where they're buried, I would assume.
But,
You know,
we learn.
I mean,
I mean, I'm not trying to make it sound bad. Please forgive me.
oh no.
We learned that the hauntings of most of these situations tend to happen where they're familiar with, where their spirit's familiar with, or some kind of item that they were attached to, in a sense. So that kind of makes me think that if you actually go to a cemetery, it's probably empty as far as spirits.
I don't get as much. I don't get as many EVPs when I go into certain cemeteries too. So I actually agree with that. It is kind of empty. I mean, it's like where do they go?
Right.
But they're just everywhere. They are everywhere. I do EVPs in my house, and you'd be amazed what I come out with, and it's my house. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
whether it's an old building or an asylum or an abandoned building or even a brand new building can still be haunted.
It's the land.
It's the land too. Yep, absolutely the land. It's a lot of things, really. It could be an attachment to an item that you have in your house.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Right.
'cause
That's one of those things that, like you and I were talking about. That's what I was going to ask you about next. Um, One of the things that you had posted was the shadow people,
Oh, the shadow people. Yes.
and that's when I was reading that. That was a really interesting little article, and I've said this before, but and the reason I asked you about this is because I love to go to antique stores.
Yes.
And
I love
bought,
antiques.
it wasn't actually a photograph. I don't know. It was kind of between a photograph and a drawing
Right.
of this gentleman who I thought was a very, very distinguished, handsome older man. Kind of reminded me maybe of a doctor or a lawyer or something. Everybody was creeped out about it. And we lived in the apartments, and my husband told me to get the picture out of there, so I brought it up to my parents, which is the house we're living in now. And my mom got real sick.
Things were
My
happening.
dad, and
Yeah.
she ended up in a nursing home.
Oh wow.
My dad started drinking heavily because he was worried about how he was going to pay for it and stuff. And that's what I was saying when the domestic problems and then everything was breaking down in the family. And we moved up here. My dad got real sick, and he ended up in assisted living. But when we first moved into the house here, because I didn't want him to be alone, because with the drinking, he kept falling and busting himself up. And I said, somebody's got to take care of Dad and watch him. So I'm sitting here on the couch. We had boxes all over the place. And I'm lying there on the couch, and I'm not sleeping. I'm just lying there thinking, where am I putting all this stuff? And then it's when I started seeing a shadow going on the box. It was a person.
Okay. Yeah.
I saw that a couple times. I was laying in bed, and where you could just like see right out to the closet in the hallway, and I saw a silhouette just walk across the closet into the wall.
Yep.
But the thing is, what really freaked me out, and this is when I asked you about this with the hat.
Yes, the Hat Man.
We had beige curtains up at the window. They were fully lined. There's no lights from the outside coming in. And I walked up the stairs, and on the curtain was a silhouette of a man. And he had what looked like, to me, like a fedora on.
Yeah, it's
But
it's
he
the
was
Hat Man.
sideways.
Yep.
And he had his arm pointed out.
Wow.
I could see the arm, I could see the hand, I could see the finger, and he was like pointing to the far wall.
Wow.
I mean, I screamed bloody murder. I ran down the steps, and my husband, he was down the basement. He comes up and it was gone.
That's what I mean. It didn't disappear in front of you, though.
I don't know. I didn't stick around long enough.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
it was
'cause,
so terrifying. I have never seen anything like that before.
I had an experience in Salem in an 1800 house that I used to live in with a silhouette, and I was laying down in bed, and my eyes were open. I was, aware, but I couldn't move. I was frozen. And what happened is my alarm clock went off, and I saw a silhouette come out from the laying position on my bed, come up to a sitting position, shut my alarm clock off, and then come back down and disappear in my bed. And then I was able to move, and I was like, whoa.
Whoa.
Did I just see that? You know what I mean? But yeah, shadow people, they're dark forms, and you'll only see them in your peripheral vision that disappear when you notice them. Basically, they're more menacing than ghosts. They're disembodied humans who are lost, having not gone through the life's journey by they refuse to go towards the light. So they're like kind of stuck in like a state of limbo. But the Hat Man, he's a little different. He's more attracted to the hostile, aggressive behavior environments, domestic disturbances, family breakdowns.
Yeah, see, it was pretty bad there for a while.
Yeah, he's an intelligent haunt, so that's why he was pointing. He was showing you something, but you couldn't see what he was showing you.
No, as I said,
Yeah.
I didn't stick around long enough.
Yeah,
But I knew there wasn't anything from the outside because there's no lights, and the curtains were lined, with the white stuff that they line them in. And the only thing I had on up here, the light, was we have a little night light in the kitchen, and we have one in the hall, and that was the only thing that was illuminating anything.
Wow.
So, and I don't know if it had anything to do with this picture that I
Well,
got.
that's what I mean. It could. Usually, I tell people when they go to antique stores or they bring something in from the outside, always bless it first with go over it with sage.
Yeah, well,
get
I
the
didn't do
sage.
that, and it was just sitting in that back room. Now we had gotten 2 kittens, and the kittens were we put in the back room, and we couldn't find the kittens. There was like no way they could get out. Somehow they were in a drawer, both of them together, in
Wow.
a drawer, a full drawer full of junk. It was my dad's desk.
Was
I
it
like,
closed?
Yeah.
Wow.
How the hell did
How'd
they
they get
get in
in there? Yeah.
And they were
yeah.
both huddled together. And
Aw.
it's like, that's it. I actually ripped up the picture and threw it in the trash can.
Yeah,
I
I
deleted
probably
it
would
off
have
my
too.
phone because I had sent a picture to a friend of mine, via my phone. It's like, that's it.
Yeah, I
And
would have
I
got.
really, I haven't seen a shadow person since then. I haven't
See?
seen anything like that. I
See,
mean,
so
we've had
that-
stuff in the house, but
That's like confirmation that it was kind of part of attached to that picture.
it could have been. It would have been something. He was dressed probably like from the 1890s, around that era, and that could have been, like what the hats that they wore, the gentlemen's hats and things like that. It could have been.
Well,
Well, Hat Man is a different type of shadow person. There's different types. There's animal shadow people. There's mists. There's, all these different types, and Hat Man is one of them. The only thing with Hat Man is he likes to intimidate his targets, and he's capable of choking and scaring, and installing fear in the person that he's trying to visit. Did you feel that at all with him?
I was scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was scared. No, the choking, no. Nothing like that. And I don't know about intimidated. As I said, I have never been so scared with
Yeah.
anything.
That's interesting.
before.
Let me ask a question then when you're talking about the shadow people and a hat man. I guess let me start with the first question is, what's the difference between a shadowy apparition versus a shadow person?
That's a good question. To me, there isn't one. To me, it'd be like, shadow people are the people that you see, the silhouettes. But, you can have mists. You can have masses of black energy. stuff like that. You can have just, the shadow, the shadow man, where you see him only in the corner of your eye, and he's always in the corners, but you'll never see the silhouette of him. So I'm going to say the shadow people are more of the people like she saw, the silhouette, versus I know something's there, creeping in my house, you know what I mean? Or just to see a mass or something like that. That's what the difference is, really. Shadow people, they're not bound by walls or physical objects. They basically can move through things.
Right.
And they also appear to be suffering. Like, they're like, they have this intense fear or confrontation with others who they're wronged in life. You know what I mean? Like, they just appear to. They can be nice, or they can be really nasty,
Okay.
and I always, help people, try and get rid of them, because I scare people all the time. They're like, I know this shadow person's here. I see them in the corner of my eye. I turn around, he's gone. Then I turn around, he's over this side. You know what I mean? Or you see the silhouettes like she saw and that I saw, that it's like a silhouette of a person, and you're just like, whoa, like this moving black silhouette. It's pretty creepy.
All right. I'm going to ask you, I got another one for you, and I'll tell you the situation. Then we also have a tweet coming in for a question, too. So,
Sure.
First question that I was going to ask is, like, when you talk about the Hat Man, my wife had always seen somebody at apartments that we used to live at that was, the shadowy apparition, but was cowboy in a duster and the cowboy hat. Would that be the same type?
It could be the same type. Yeah, absolutely. They don't have a specific hat that they wear. You know what I mean? So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
because it's a shadow and it's got a hat on there. It's the Hat Man.
But she watched him walk down different areas of the apartment complex, so that's why I was like.
That's what I mean. Like a shadowy apparition, you'd only see in the corner of your eyes. You wouldn't see it.
Right.
The Hat Man, you see the silhouette of.
Awesome.
And that's what she was experiencing. Absolutely.
Okay, first question's coming in says, how can an empath accept their gifts if just finding out after 5 years?
Well, you have to learn to accept them. Is that what the question is? You just have to learn to how you feel around people. It's just learning. It's like I would say the best thing to do would be Google it and research it, because there's a lot that goes into an empath. They feel a lot of things for other people, and they feel a sadness, they feel happy, they feel excited, depending upon who the person they're around. But if you just experience it, I'd say research it and just get to know your body. You know your body better than anybody else. You know what I mean? And you know your feelings. And when you're around people, you tend to have different feelings. And those feelings are very strong. So if you're just starting to experience something that you've had for a while, it's just all about getting in tune to it. Learning about it, getting in tune to it, meditating will help. Stuff like that will definitely help.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
And have them come to Haunted Salem. I'll send them many information about what to expect and stuff like that. And I would love to show people how they feel and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I mentor a lot of people, so have them come my way. Absolutely.
There you go. And we'll give you guys.
I'll help.
We'll give you guys
Yes.
that address, the Facebook address here in a little bit. I think this is going with the shadowy people because this one's kind of a little just short question, but do they have spirits or other things follow them?
It depends. With shadow people, do they have spirits that follow them? I'm not too sure about that. I mean, there's spirits everywhere. Following people. People get attached, but can it be attached to a shadow? Yeah, I mean, just because it's a shadow and not so much an apparition or a spirit or an entity or an energy, you know what I mean? They still see them on the other side, regardless.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I would say yes. They would have other spirits around them. Would they notice the shadow people? I would say yes. I would say absolutely.
That's kind of something that I would wonder too.
Good question.
It really is. It would make me wonder, do spirits notice shadow people?
That's a great question. But yes, I would say yes. I would say yes because it's an energy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that energy, they can see on the other side. They can see everything.
Exactly.
So.
Now, we want to tell everyone where they can follow you at. Of course, you can go to facebook.com/Haunted Salem HS, which the HS is capitalized. You can follow her there. And the group, do we give the group address as well?
It's Haunted Salem's official page. If you type in Haunted Salem on Facebook, it should pop right up. And also there's Haunted's 31 Days of Halloween, where the whole month of October we have games and we win prizes, and we the whole year it's all about horror, because I love horror, so it's all about the horror. So Haunted's 31 Days of Halloween, and then come October there's contests, games, raffles, you win prizes, so it's great. It's good fun.
You can also follow her on Twitter at Haunted Salem 77.
Yes, I am on Twitter. Yep. And also, please subscribe and follow me on YouTube. All my past shows and EVPs and work that I've done throughout the years is all on YouTube. So
Yeah, I'm going to do that later on.
But hopefully... Go ahead,
The two shows that have really, that I just rewatched and are amazing is Beyond the Grave Radio, one of my radio shows with June Lundgren and Seth Michael. Those two are amazing shows.
I want to say I know this show. I think I've watched it or at least listened to one of them before, and so Beyond the Grave Radio really sounds familiar. But okay, I'm gonna say this on the air, so all your fans listening, even in the podcast, this is your opportunity to pester Christina. She's like, what? Yes, because we're offering her a home on TMV Cafe for her radio show as well.
Awesome.
So
I'm so happy. Yay!
So if you guys want to see her do that, right now is your chance. So this way, when she gets off the air, she's going to go to her Facebook page and say, oh my gosh, this is your chance to go to her page and say, do it. Okay.
Yeah, pester me. Yes.
What do you...
That's amazing.
Yep.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, that's amazing. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Oh no, we love having great shows, and like I said, when I saw after talking with you and of course doing research, I saw the Beyond the Grave Radio, and I was like, oh my God, why do I remember this name? And I know it's got to be, I've listened to it before, so it's like, yeah, no, this is definitely one to get around here. So
that's awesome.
Do you have
It's all about getting out there, so yeah, go ahead.
Do you have a specific area in the paranormal that, like, you're fascinated with more? Like me, I'm really big on Bigfoot and wanting to know more about proving, I guess, if he's real or not.
Oh yeah, no, I love it all. The whole 9 yards of the paranormal is all me. I don't really have a specific, no. The whole 9 yards. I love it. I love doing EVPs. I love working with my pendulums and stuff like that.
And you mentioned the team before, and I want to kind of go back to that with your investigations. Can we ask who's all involved in the team?
Sure. Well, I have Spot, which is my first team. It's Strategic Paranormal Operations Team. And I have Corey Thibodeau as my lead investigator. I have Rachel Sawyer right now. And I always try to grab people. If you want to be a part, if you're local in Salem and you want, Beverly, anywhere around the area, and you want to be a part of my investigation team, come on down. I would love to take you on. Absolutely, you know what I mean. We have all the equipment, you know, and things like that. My other paranormal investigation team is North Shore Pure Paranormal. Now with that, we do a lot of water ITC and spirit boxes, so that, you know, separates the two teams. There's about 12 people on my team, and they work a lot with water ITC and, you know, the spirit boxes. You ever deal with the spirit boxes? Those are really amazing.
Right.
But they're hard. They're hard to listen to because of all the noise.
Yeah. Or do you use the Radio Shack Hack spirit box, or how do you do
I don't know which ones they have. I also wanted to start learning to make them, to be honest with you, with my team. We got this idea of, you know, everyone's making them. Let's make our own.
Yeah.
You know, why not? But I'm not too sure exactly what they use. That's all new to me, that portion of the investigations. You know what I mean? Because we have all the other equipment that, you know, we go and use, and it's amazing what you find. But
right.
It is. Those things are awesome. I've got a couple of them. I got a newer one that's got it's two of them. It goes backward and forward on both sides. And,
oh wow.
It does the temperature in the room, and it does all kinds of. I got it for my birthday a couple of years ago. I really haven't used it yet.
Yeah.
Because I've been kind of gimpy, and I haven't been going much any places. But
it's a little different, and sometimes after like an hour, you got like a little bit of a headache. You know what I mean? Because of all that static, and you're trying to listen to voices within this white noise, and it's really wild.
It is, because right after my father passed, we were this is before I got the newer one, but we were playing with the other one, and I don't know, something came through and says, "Hey, baby cakes," and that freaked me out, because that's what my dad called me, baby cakes.
Oh man.
It's like I knew he was here. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. There's two questions that came in. One, somebody wants to know, what is ITC?
Water ITC is what they do. I forget the name, what ITC stands for. But what happens is like you take a pan, you put some water in it, and what you do is you take a picture of the water, and it comes out with these images. And those images are paranormal. You see people in those images. And it's really wild. I'm new to it myself, but it's really starting to get big. I forget what. Yeah, it is. A lot of people do it. You can take it with any pan, and you put water in it, and you just start, you know, taking pictures, and what comes out is just amazing.
I'm curious now.
That's what water ITC is. You know, it's working with water and your camera. That's what it is.
Interesting. A couple more, and it's going back to the shadow people. One question is, what are shadow people's biggest fear, or do they have one?
Well, as far as the shadow people go, I mean, they live in fear themselves because they're afraid to go to the light. You know what I mean? They don't want to move forward, you know, for any reason in particular. They hang around, so they're kind of like earthbound people. You know what I mean? And they have fears, absolutely.
Okay.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, they definitely. Is that what the question was? That they have fears?
Do they have fears?
Yeah,
they
definitely. They do have fears, absolutely.
And the next question, I guess, stays on the shadow people here. It says, if you see ghosts in shadow people, what does it mean?
Well, you know, your place is haunted.
Yeah.
You know? Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Here's a good question, and I was just thinking of this. I've never really heard of this incident, but it's definitely one to consider. Do you think a shadow person could be part of a... oh God, I forgot the name of it. Residual haunting?
They're more intelligent. They're intelligent hauntings.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. If it was residual, it would be residual. You know, because residual is more of the,
just
you know,
broken
record.
record.
The tape recording of an event, and they don't see you, and you don't see them. they have no they have no idea that you're even there. They just live in their own movie. So it'd be more intelligent because they're watching you. The shadow people, they're watching you. They just always have their eye on you, and they just
Oh God, thank you. I'm sitting here by myself.
Remember what I said? Make sure you have the light
Yeah, I
on.
know.
And you cover.
Tom's in the other room. I could grab him or something.
And here's something
That's
cool.
what they're in a state of limbo, and that's what it is.
Yeah. Here's something cool for you. I think both you ladies would really like. Believe it or not, Pinterest has well, I wouldn't say a buttload, but quite a few pictures of ITC water experiments.
Oh yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Because I was Googling to try to find out more what the ITC stood for.
Yeah. Did it tell you? I just forget what it stands for.
I have yet to come across it yet. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find out what the ITC actually stands for. I want to say, okay, here we go. ITC experiments using light reflection from water.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if it'll actually say what the ITC stands for, but this is a really long article. So, actually...
Just Google what ITC.
Oh my
Water
God.
ITC stands for. That's it.
Do you realize what these things, what the water reflections are actually getting pictures of?
Well, I work with a couple people that do it. Some are they're on my team as well, and they could be spirit guides. I got my friend in Denmark. She does it all the time, and her spirit guides always come through on the water ITC. But she has those abilities where she knows who it is. You know what I mean? Because she just has those abilities.
These are pictures of
amazing.
faces.
Yeah, they're faces, they're people.
Wow.
And it's supposed to be, capturing it like on the camera, except you're just doing it in water. I mean, I'm still, like I said, new to it, but they're people around you.
Yeah.
They're not just, any Joe Schmo. They're actually people in your house and your spirit guides and your guardian angels and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. ITC stands for Instrument Transcommunication.
Okay.
It's a method for attempting to record spirit or trans-dimensional images on your TV using a video camera, so snap photography in a sense. But yeah, that's actually I've heard of it, and I think we've had a guest talk about it in the past. I don't quite remember, but I've heard of this before. But I never seen the images until now, and wow.
Oh, they're amazing. I have many images on my computer, and it's just amazing what you see. It's like, wow. You can see it so clearly, you know what I mean? And it's just there. And I don't know where it comes from. It just appears. My thing is EVPs. I always tell people, if you think your house is haunted, ask them.
For sure.
Take any tape recorder, hit record, start asking questions. Who are you? What are you doing here? Why are you here? Do you know what I mean? And if you're not used to listening to the responses, you might not be able to hear them as clearly, but once you get used to it, the responses that come out are just simply amazing. I mean, it's just amazing.
Well, speaking of recorder, we've got quite a few, so I don't want to think that we're not going to be able to squeeze them in. We're going to try to get as many in that we can.
Sure.
But we'll get some in right now before the break at the top of the hour. So we've got some EVPs from you, and I would like to go with you picking out which one you'd like first, because, I mean, there's quite a few, but I know there's probably one that you're thinking, oh my God, play that one.
The scariest one of them all is The Name is Charlie.
Okay, let me look for that one. You want to tell us the story on that one?
Sure. I was in Salem in a residential home doing an investigation, and it just, it just came out. I'm not sure if we asked it what its name was or whatnot, but it just came out that the name is Charlie.
Ooh.
And it's just amazing. It's so clear and it's so scary. It was like it just wanted to, I think I was asking like who was around me at the time, and that's what it came out. The name is Charlie.
Okay, I'm going to click a switch so you ladies can hear it, and then I'm going to
Sure.
give me a second afterwards to click it back so we can talk more about it. We'll play it a couple of times for those out there listening, and then we'll come back and talk a little more about it, right?
Okay.
So here we go. And again. Interesting.
See how clear that is? The
Yeah.
name is Charlie.
Yeah, with an accent or
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you can hear that.
Interesting.
And
And
that's-
what was this? Was this just a straight out EVP, or was this through?
It was just it was just a straight out EVP. We just something that we caught. This house in Salem that I do a lot of residential work in, it's like my second home, and the place is absolutely filled with spirits.
Wow.
And I go in there alone on the first floor, and I get the heebie-jeebies. You know what I mean? I can feel it. You know what I mean? And I'm always in there alone, and I'm always hitting the record button and talking to them. And I always get the EVPs that say, "I'm behind you," or "We are behind you," or "Turn
Yeah.
around." And I'm just like, when I hear them, I'm like, oh man, you know what I mean? Because I know there's like 5 of them behind me, like in a room, and I'm by myself, you know, and I just can see it. I can see it and I can hear it. But this one was just something that we caught.
Wow. Yeah. See.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to be in a place that says, it's kind of like that old Eddie Murphy stand-up thing when he's talking about haunted houses, and it's you hear the disembodied voice, "Get out." Bye, honey.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, somebody's in there and tells me, "We're behind you." Yeah, that's it.
That's what a lot of it that I get in my house is that we're behind you, and I'm always like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But another one that's very very clear is "Open the Box" or "Over the Box."
Okay.
I got that in a cemetery actually.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, this
I
is.
don't know if it says "over" or "open."
It actually says both, so I guess this will be a chance for all of us to listen to, which is just a quick one. So I'm going to actually play this one 3 times for everyone, because like I said, it's really quick. And then we'll talk more about it here in just a second, and actually ask which cemetery it's in after. So here we go. Yeah,
See, I hear "over." I
I-
hear "over the box."
I do too.
I said open the box.
Do you hear
Yeah, it
open?
says it- Yeah,
See, I kind of
Really?
hear it as over.
I heard it as "over."
Interesting. Now, this is in a particular cemetery. This
Yes.
is Danvers Cemetery.
Danvers Cemetery. Yep.
Okay.
That's probably about 10 minutes away from Salem. And a friend of mine's mother has passed away a couple of years ago, so I decided to go down and sit at the grave and talk with her, and we could do some EVP recordings and see what I came out with.
Mhm.
And this is one that I came out with. Over the Box.
How old is this cemetery?
Danvers, I mean, it doesn't go way, way back, but I mean, they're pretty old. It's pretty old.
Right.
Not like the ones in Salem, you know what I mean?
Right.
But cemeteries, they've been around.
Interesting. Well, here's another one from Danvers Cemetery. Now, this one I would kind of almost say, this is what I would think spirits from a cemetery would say. Only because, this is supposed to be their final resting place, or at least for the body. And, somebody's there asking all these questions, which I always laugh at, and I'll ask you if you do these too, but the same typical questions are asked when it comes to an EVP session. So I can almost imagine this is what a spirit would say from a cemetery. We'll play it again a couple of times, and then we'll come back and talk about it. Here we go.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Come on, do it. Okay. I honestly couldn't make anything out on it, but
Which one is that?
that's the one that says "go away."
Oh, go away. If you play it again.
Okay, give me a second here.
Says it slowly. It says "go away."
Okay, so it's kind of drawn out there.
It's drawn out. So
Yeah. But see, that's what I would think somebody would in a cemetery would say if you asking the spirits, hey, is there somebody here who wants to talk? Go away.
I like the one that says I'm on this side. That's very clear. That's in the Danvers Cemetery too.
I was looking at that one too. I was pondering between the two, but okay, let's do that one. That's I'm on this side. So here we go. We'll do that, and we'll be right back with question here. Ooh. Yeah, that's pretty doggone clear.
I'm on this side.
Yeah.
See? Yeah. Which side are you on? I'm on this side.
Yeah. But see, that's kind of a bad thing too, because you're getting it as an EVP, and it's like, okay, which side is that?
I know, right?
Do I want to know which side that is? But yeah, oh my gosh. So, and this all started because you went to go to the cemetery where a friend's mother is buried?
Mother passed, yeah, and I just thought it would be nice to see what I could gather, if I could, get anything of her saying anything that she wanted to say, and those were a couple of them that I got. There was an intelligent response. Now, an intelligent response is one that they answer your question.
Right.
You ask a question and it answers it. That's an intelligent response. The one that says, yeah, listen to that one. That one answers my question.
Okay, here we go.
It's so clear.
All right, let's do that, and we'll see what everyone else thinks.
Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful?
Oh wow, you can hear.
You see how clear that is?
Yeah, that's just right there, right after. That's
yeah,
and that is
Isn't
an
that
intelligent
amazing?
Response.
That's an intelligent response. That's answering your question. Yep.
Annie, are you getting goosebumps?
Yeah, that first one I played this afternoon was like, oh my god.
Oh, the beautiful jacket, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the beautiful jacket.
A good one.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's do that one right now.
Sure.
Ooh. Yeah, that's almost a Class A right there.
That is a Class A, actually. You played it one more time?
Okay, give me a second. I just pulled it out of there, so I just got to go back to it. Yeah, I mean, well, I guess, yeah. I guess, isn't Class A, though, where you can hear it with your ears as well?
I think so. I think Class A... Well, no. Well, I think you're right. I think you're right, because Class A is something that you can hear very clearly.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like Class A. It's like, bam, right there. But can you hear it with your own ears? I think is a little different.
See, there was
different. Yeah, there's different classes.
There was a investigation that had it was two ladies that went to this one. It was in a furniture store, in the basement of a furniture store in Texas, and they actually heard the EVP with their ears, and then the sound, coming through also on the recording, and they also had a video camera going at the same time, so it literally hit all three.
And
wow. That's
amazing.
It was a little girl saying, "Mommy."
Oh.
So, but I mean, I think what it is it's just like that creep factor at the same time, because oh boy, we just heard this.
Yeah.
So, and where they are when they were doing the like the Radio Shack Cat, it wasn't picking up any stations because they were inside this basement that's just really closed off from receiving any kind of reception. So, it's just going through, and Mommy came through clear as day, but they weren't even running the box to get that. This was just in the air. So
in the air, yep.
But okay, let's do Beautiful Jacket.
That's very rare, though.
Yes.
To hear it with your own ears.
Exactly. So here's Beautiful Jacket again, and we'll see what Annie. Let's see. Oh, you already heard it, right?
Mm.
Okay, so we'll do this again for everyone. Yeah.
See how clear that's awesome.
So cool.
Isn't that cool? I got that
so cool.
at my friend's house there, and he was just talking about his jacket. It was a bright yellow jacket, and he was just talking about it, and that's what came out. It just said he was complimenting him, saying, "Oh, beautiful jacket."
Here's a question for you on Twitter that says, how do you communicate with them if you don't have a tape recorder or a Ouija board?
You can do a pendulum. if you don't have a pendulum, you can take a strand of your hair. Okay, so take a strand of your hair and take a ring and put the ring on the hair and use that as a pendulum. It's a homemade pendulum. And horizontal, vertical is yes and horizontal is no. In betweens are maybes. So you can always, use that to ask questions and it will come back as yes or no. You can only ask yes or no answers. But if you don't have a tape recorder, do a phone app.
Right.
If you have your phone, do a phone app. Get a recorder on your phone app and use that. I use those all the time. But if you don't have a tape recorder, I mean, the only thing I can think of without a Ouija board or a tape recorder would be just to use the homemade pendulum.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're at the top of the hour, so let's do this. We're gonna take a musical break. Brand new mix by the Electric Wizard, myself, and we'll come back and do some more EVPs. And if you have questions for Christina, simply tweet them at us at Twitter on Twitter at TMV Cafe, because for some reason something's wrong with the chat room. But we want to get your questions to Christina tonight. So it's just simply tweet us on Twitter at TMV Cafe, or you can even ask us on our Facebook page as well. I didn't think about that, but we can do that as well. So here we go. We're going to do this quick musical break. Everybody who needs a chance to stretch their legs and get out, just get up and get a drink or whatever it is, let's do that, right? And we'll be right back with more TMV Cafe's Paranormal right after this.
This is Salt and Pepper.
This is your DJ Godfather Grandmaster Flash.
Hey, this is Janet. Hi, this is Madonna.
Hello, this is Whitney Houston. I'm in the mix with
TMV Cafe Radio.
Played on the radio station. I might get your song played on the radio station. You just might be a black Bill Gates in the Lakers. I just might be a black Bill Gates.
Hey, this is Dan Aykroyd. You are listening to Paranormal.
That's right. We are back with some more Paranormal, and we've got a special guest with us tonight, Annie Crow. Oh, wait. No, you're always here.
I'm always here.
Yeah, but no, we actually have from Haunted Salem, Miss Christina, who has been giving us some amazing information here, stories, and EVPs, which we got some more that we're going to give you guys here in a little bit. If you haven't done so, don't forget to go like her on her Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Haunted Salem HHS. And then, of course, you can also follow her in the group. And this one I would suggest going to because you get all her websites right there, and that is the group's Haunted Salem. So if you just look them up, you'll find their group, and then, like I said, when there you get all of them: the YouTube, the radio shows, the different paranormal teams. I mean, the works: Tumblr, Instagram, Twitter. Oh my!
Yeah, I keep pretty busy, to be honest with you. Definitely takes up a lot of my time. So
right. It's it really is something amazing there, because you got a lot of. I don't know how you find the time for it, but we have a question came in. It says Bill Am's tech manager Christina gave the spiritual explanation of what shadow people are now. The quantum physics explanation. Shadow people are interdimensional beings that absorb light instead of giving off light like we do. Interesting.
Yes. And a lot of people don't know the difference between a ghost and a spirit. A ghost is who is passed on and is stuck between the physical world and the afterlife. They don't cross over to the light and go through the review process and all that. They didn't cross over. A spirit is one that did cross over to the light and go through that life review and learning process after they have passed. So a lot of people didn't know the difference between what a ghost and a spirit was either.
Oh. That makes good sense, though, too, because, I think a lot of people don't understand what it takes to, I didn't say it right.
The afterlife is amazing because you don't have a ghost is actually an earthbound spirit. When you pass on, you have the choice whether you want to go through the light or not. You can stay behind for certain reasons, loved ones. You attend your own funeral. And a lot of people they stay back and they don't pass on through the light. But what they don't realize is if you did go through the light, you can always come back anytime you want. So why not go through the light and move on with your spiritual being? You see what I mean?
I do, and there is something that that comes to mind when you mention that, because there's a lot of people who talk about helping the spirits cross over.
Yes.
How I guess this is a good question for some that might be interested in wanting to know how this actually happens. So, could you define to us how this actually
it's called
happens?
Spirit rescue.
Okay.
Spirit rescue is what you do when you cross spirits over into the light. It's not easy to do. Normally, you would need like a psychic medium to help. They'd be able to tell if they have passed on or not. But you just talk to them and you tell them that whatever reason that they're here, move on to that light, cross over, and it's just all about trying to help them understand that the light is not bad. A lot of them fear the light. A lot of them fear judgment. If they go over, they think that they're going to be judged, or they're going to go, downstairs, instead of up in the heavens,
Right.
So they don't want to cross over. And a lot of that spirit rescue is about getting them to understand that it's not bad. They want to go towards that light and crossing them over. There's a little ritual, I guess, that they do. I'm not exactly sure how it goes, but I am also learning myself because I want to do it on investigations, learn how to cross them over and have them move on.
Right. Here's a question that just got tweeted in, and I guess it's a really good question too. How do we know that there's a light that we're trying to make them move on to?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, some people, when they pass on, they see the tunnel. A lot of people think they're going to see the tunnel. They're going to be greeted by, loved ones, pets, stuff like that. But sometimes the spirits can't see the light. That tunnel thing that everyone knows about doesn't happen to everybody.
Right.
And it depends how you passed. If you violently, were murdered, suicide, stuff like that, you end up in a state of darkness, a state of limbo. And that limbo it's the fear. It's your own fear. Your own fears create what you see when you pass over. It's different for everybody. I got a tickle in my throat.
It's okay. No, that makes sense too, because I think the one thing that you said that's spot on for that is that it really is different for everyone.
Absolutely.
As Annie mentioned, the shadow apparition that she saw with a fedora. I think that's right. Is that what you said? Fedora? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, that's what it looked like.
Right.
Sort of like a 1940s film noir kind of thing.
Right. And then, of course, my wife, who had seen the cowboy with, the cowboy hat. So, yep. each individual is seeing something different. I mean, if we had, say, 20 people go to the Amityville Horror House, how many of them would see the identical, say, hauntings or,
Exactly. No two people see the same ghost at the same time.
Exactly. And I think that kind of proves the point when it comes to investigations as well, because as teams go in, they hear, this exciting things that happen to these other teams. But the question is, how many times did that other team go before they got that kind of evidence?
And also, what plays a factor in that is your abilities. Abilities play a big factor in that. When you go to a haunted location, and what you experience is going to be based upon your abilities.
Right.
If you don't have any, you're not going to see or hear anything. If you do, you're gonna I mean, I've had people go into a home where they got choked, and they felt the hands around your neck, or they couldn't breathe there in a certain point, or they feel this room, I can't go in that room at all, I have to leave.
Right. The one thing I didn't think was possible, because I've always heard the stories, and I just kind of really doubted it until it happened in our last house, which actually was the reason we left the other house, because it was just getting to be too much. My wife actually got scratched.
Yep, mystery scratches.
Yeah, I've never, in all the years I've heard people talk about it, but I've never seen anyone, any of the teams that I've been with, that the clients actually had it happen. But I've heard people
it happens quite a bit, actually. You wake up and you have scratches on you. As long as it's not 3 scratches, you should be okay, because anything 3 is the mark of the Trinity. you're talking about demonic stuff like that. You
Wonderful.
know what I mean?
Well, I'm glad we left that house because she was sitting in her recliner. I was in my office, and she screamed out, and of course I dropped everything and went over there, and she had 3 marks going down her
3
arm.
marks. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So we always thought.
Any welts or bruises?
Not that I know of. I mean, I even if they were, she's had mystery bruises, but so do I. I have neuropathy, so I get bumped and not even realize I got it. So yeah. But yeah, I don't know if now that I think about it, I don't recall her talking about anything like that. No.
Yeah, the 3 scratches are the Mark of Trinity, which is more of a demonic entity that is around.
Yeah. I'm trying to make sense of this question. It just came in, and they're asking if on cell phone when you speak to type as mind, I'm reading this word for word, so give me a second here, as has mind of its own, or is it a spirit I get it. So on a cell phone, if you're trying to, when you speak to type and it doesn't quite put what you're saying, is it a spirit trying to speak what they want you to hear or say?
So I'm saying something in my phone to type out and it comes out something completely different?
Yeah.
That's paranormal. Absolutely.
Which is really...
Because that's not right, you know what I mean? You should be typing what I'm saying.
But then again, I don't know, because sometimes those smartphones aren't as smart as they say they are.
Yeah, well... Because it comes out completely different, and it comes out as a message to trying to tell you something. A lot of this paranormal stuff is, about messages. It's all about, what are they trying to tell you? What do you know what I mean? And if I'm speaking, this is my house, and it came out something completely different. I mean, what is it saying?
Right.
What did it say? Ask yourself that. Is it trying to, give you a message of some sort? But I've never seen that happen before, so. Probably a one of a kind thing,
Yeah, and I'm just going to answer the other one. They wanted to know if they speak more than just English.
Oh yes, I just got an EVP in my bathroom. It was a girl saying 4 in French.
Wow. Yeah. We did
in my bathroom.
We were doing a Ghost Box session or or a Radio Shack hack session. And, of course, in San Antonio, there's really only 2 Spanish stations, and they're pretty far apart on the dial. So it's not like you could ever get them to bump across. I mean, you're literally going through multiple stations, from a Christian station to oldies to rap to country to rock. I mean, multiple rock stations. So by the time you hit those Spanish channels, you've hit all these other stations, and they're all in English. So in this session, we actually had, and I'm sure some of the listeners heard me talk about this before, we actually had a point where it actually, we asked a question, who do you want, or what do you want? And it said in Spanish, yo quiero hablar con Estela. And just one straight sentence, and even the team that was there was like, oh my god, I've never heard it do a sentence like that.
Oh wow. Well, the thing is, start speaking to it in Spanish and see what you get.
Yeah, that didn't my Spanish is about as great as
I think you did pretty good.
Yeah, I like that. That was good.
Yeah.
What did it mean? What was the translation?
I want to talk to Stella.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Stella's my wife.
They go into these old castles and they're speaking English. They should be speaking a different language, to try and, get that going, the communication going.
I think you're right, too, because if you're walking into, say if you're doing a cemetery session and it's nothing but, like here in San Antonio, you have some very old mission cemeteries. And so if you're doing a session in there, the odds of getting more Spanish translation or, speaking are greater.
Oh, absolutely.
Unless you come across the area where it might have some of the people from the Alamo, I mean, then it's a different story. But even then, it was a mix between the Mexican and those that weren't, for the whole event. So, and I don't even think Davy Crockett's buried here. So.
Well, I do a lot of EVPs, right? And I have a friend that's in Denmark, and we Skype all the time. She's on my team. She's one of my great friends, and I do EVPs in my house, and I'll send them to her, and she'd be like, "You wouldn't believe this, but they're actually speaking Swedish."
Wow.
In your EVPs, it's like my ghosts are coming over to you. They're interested in you. It's like they're coming all the way over to you, and they're speaking to your EVPs in my language. You know what I mean? And she goes, "It's fascinating,
That is actually fascinating because
it is.
The span, but then again, it would make sense too because I mean most of the people that started the country was they're not American,
Yeah.
So they're from different countries and so forth. So yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
But
why not?
Wow. The fact that you could send it to her and she can translate that's pretty cool.
And she was. And she's like, "I'm telling you, my spirits are coming over to you. They like you. They're coming over to your side, and they're speaking to me, giving me messages in Swedish." And it was just amazing.
Wow. There's a question that came in wanting to know, do you believe in astral projection?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Astral projection it's so weird. I don't even know how to explain it, but you're supposed to be leaving your body like in your sleep, and you go off and you're attached to this cord. I don't know too much about it, but I gotta teach myself a little more about it. But I was told that my son astroplanes. It's just something you do in your sleep, and you wander. You ever see the movie Insidious?
Yes.
That's about astroplaning. When he goes off and he ends up, somewhere else, and they're trying to bring him back, and if you go too far, you can't come back.
Yeah.
That's astroplaning.
But
yes, I do believe in it. Yes, I do.
That makes me wonder if somebody does that and realizes that there's this chance that you might not be able to get back into your body.
It's scary.
Right?
It really is. If you go too far, you won't be able to come back. That's what I thought, you know what I mean? And the thing is how do you even know, unless you have those abilities, you can know if you're astroplaning and control it just like you can control your dreams. You know what I mean?
You're right.
Yeah, but what about those kind of dreams that you feel like you're falling right back down?
Oh, I love those dreams.
Have you ever had that? That you felt like you were falling?
Yeah,
Well, they all mean something. Everything, all aspects in dreams, they mean something. You know what I mean? So you just got to analyze what falling means. You know what I mean? But
that's a good question. Makes me want to look it up. I'll look it up. Let y'all ladies talk a moment.
It's fascinating. I help people analyze their dreams all the time. And I always tell them, keep a journal next to your bed. When you wake up, write down anything and everything you can think of to the very most classic details. And then you pick it apart and you take those details and you analyze them, and it tells you exactly what's going on in your life, what to expect, your past, your present, your future. And it's just the messages, and it helps you, and it really helps you how you feel, what to overcome, what you're fearing, and dream analyzation is I help people a lot with that. But always keep a notebook.
I do have the answer for this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask. I'm sitting back. It's all yours.
Okay. What about reoccurring dreams?
Oh, well, it's trying to tell you something. You obviously didn't get the message. It's trying to tell you something. It's being adamant about it.
Because I've been having the same. It's sort of different, but it's always the same place, and since I was a little kid.
Okay, Annie. Okay. You are going to win the lottery.
I wish. Then we could have our TMV cafe in San Antonio. with the waitresses in our little
Oh,
box.
the
so
actual
we can-
restaurant. Yes.
Yes, our little cafe.
Dreams
so
are very
want that.
important. You should always, you know, try and remember your dreams as best as you can, and try and get those messages, because they leave messages for you. Even deceased loved ones, they come to you in your dreams. You know,
I've
dreams are
had
very
that.
important.
Here's a question that just came across on your dreams, and I think you just started on that. But are dreams that are forgotten important dreams?
Oh, absolutely. Every dream is important. It's just the reason why you forget it is it has to do with your REM period, and it has to do with your sleeping habits, and you know what I mean. You can wake up and you can't remember a thing, or you can wake up and remember everything. Like, you have those dreams where you remember, years ago I had this dream. You know what I mean? But it's stuck with you.
Right.
You never forgot it. And then there's ones that you wake up and it's like, oh, I remember something that I can't remember. Yeah, it just, if you can, try and remember them, you know. But yeah, they're all important. They're all messages. They're all trying to tell you, you know, they can tell you how you feel,
right?
How you feeling, you know, and what's to come. Like premonition dreams, people dream all the time, and then things happen.
See, I have the deja vus because I've dreamt
Deja
it.
vu, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that.
All right, it don't bother me. It helps me in certain events because it's in the dream. Apparently, I realize I'm going to need some guidance or something. This was what was explained to me, and so when it comes to that incident, I remember what happened in the dream, and like some of the times, it's if I chose to stay with what I had in the dream, it's going to lead to this very bad event. And not only did I have this nasty gut feeling in the dream, but apparently I'm having it when the event's happening. And so remembering the dream helped me guide into doing the right thing.
Ah, that's deja vu with your dreams.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Deja vu in life without dreaming has to do with your past lives.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I can't say I've had that.
You're experiencing something that you experienced in the past.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, I don't know, you know, your views or whatnot, but I definitely am a believer in reincarnation. And your ailments that you have now, your back hurts, something's wrong with your back, or, you know what I mean, stuff like that. It has to do with your past lives, where you were killed, birthmarks, stuff like that, you know.
Wow.
All has to do with your past lives. And you take a piece of that with you each life you go in.
There was my son was telling me about a friend of his had a little boy, and the little boy, I'm not sure how old he was, like 4 or 5 or something. He would take his soldiers, you know how you go to the dollar store and you get those little green soldiers and stuff.
Yep.
And he would lay them out and do maneuvers that they haven't done since like the Civil War.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. He was doing
Isn't that amazing?
He started to play the piano.
Yep.
He started to do all these things.
Yep.
And like my son's call me and tell me, and it's like, okay, this sounds like one of these past life things coming through. He, unfortunately and very sadly, they took him to a psychiatrist who said that he was schizophrenic.
Oh,
and
that's
all kinds of medicine. And sadly, this little kid got into a fight with another kid and hurt him, and they put him away.
Oh.
That's horrible.
I said they need to follow through with that one thing. Don't stick the kid on medicine.
Yeah,
and
no, I
he's
agree
way
with
too
that.
young to be diagnosed with schizophrenia. That's usually
I
like
agree
a
with
teenage
that.
thing and up that farther. But
he just remembered his past lives. He remembered it. It depends. See, the only thing that we're set in stone, okay, is how you come, how you leave, the method of your death, and what you want to accomplish while you're alive. Those are the only things set in stone. Everything else is a choice by you. You choose your own parents. You choose where you live. You choose what you want to do. You choose everything like that. And when you come into this life and then you pass on, what happens is if you reincarnate too quickly, or whatever the reason is, some people, that's why they remember their past lives, and they have those abilities to do things that they couldn't do at such an age.
right,
You know what
I
I
mean,
mean? Yeah, it's amazing.
with the little soldiers, I was just and playing a piano.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, the kid's playing a piano.
Yes.
He's never had any lessons. Come
Yep.
on.
That's all reincarnation. Yep.
That's kind of strange. But,
Okay. So you want your answer to the falling in a dream?
What?
Yeah, it's just like, you startle yourself awake. You feel like you're falling and you, like, jolt awake.
Well,
Okay.
believe it or not, falling is a common dream. Falling is an indication of insecurities, instabilities, and anxieties. You are feeling overwhelmed and out of control in some situations in your in your waking life. This may reflect the way you feel in your relationship or in your work environment. You have lost your foothold and cannot hang on or keep up with the hustle and bustle of daily life. When you fall, there is nothing that you can hold on to. So you more or less are forced toward the downward motion of without any control. And this loss of control may parallel in waking situations in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the jerking at the end of that, so you never actually see yourself fall, is actually a mechanism inside your body that actually prevents you from actually dying in your sleep for that particular fact, because there is a danger of dying if you allow yourself to literally fall in the dream.
I've heard that
So
before.
and yeah, that's the downside to that particular dream, but that's actually a pretty cool explanation when it comes to understanding the dream itself. So cool. I did not
just
know
like
that.
well, you can dream of dying.
Yeah,
I've dreamt that I've died.
I have
Yeah,
too.
and dreaming of dying, it symbolizes interchange, transformation, self-discovery, and stuff like that within your life. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
I mean, like I said, the littlest thing in your dream, it tells you what's going on in your own life. And you can actually, when you analyze them, you can learn a lot from yourself. You know what I mean?
Right.
Flying is another one.
I love to fly in my dreams. I don't know why, but I mean, to me, in my dream, flying is, I'll describe it as this. It is the one time you feel free. You're not,
exactly.
you're loose. You kind of get to cut loose and move about your life. Just not necessarily, I don't want to say coasting or anything, but to just freely move. And I think, and the sensation that you get while doing it is something you just can't describe, because as we've said with other things, it's different for each person. But in my case, it's just this satisfactory feeling.
It's a great feeling to fly.
Right? Of course, now some people say put me on an airplane, and no, that's not the case. I love to fly.
Oh, no.
I love heights, so that none of that bothers me.
You like heights?
Oh, I love heights.
Uh,
Oh, heck yeah.
no. Well, I think I have a lot of dreams about storms. Like,
Okay.
really bad thunderstorms, tornadoes, and getting caught in them, or looking
You
out
should
the
look.
windows.
Yeah, you should look it up and see what it means.
Yeah.
Okay, we will do that.
Yeah. I mean, it just gives you insight, and that's what it is. It's all about insight, I mean.
And when you come up with your translations for the dreams for others, if you don't mind me asking, how do you do your research to get answers for them?
I just go into dream books, basically, and go through what they mean, and I just, explain to them, this is, like she said, storms. You can look at it a couple ways. You can type in storms. What does dreaming of storms mean? Or you can do, what is dreaming of water mean? Go more depth into it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Water is something different from storms, even though it's the same thing. Different. Lightning, stuff like that. You just pick it apart. You take one subject, you pick it apart, and you'll find more and more answers. And then when you find those answers, you're blown away, because it's exactly how you feel, or exactly what you're going through in life. You know what I mean? Or exactly what you're dealing with, and it's like never ending. You know.
All right, Annie.
It makes you want to go dream, basically, and you can
Right.
control your dreams. I teach people how to control their dreams, and mentor that, and explain like how you can do it, and it's just amazing. Like if you have the ability to control your dream, go for it.
Right. So
It's
are
fun.
you giving me permission to go dream?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Talk to y'all later. No.
Nighty night.
Right? I never
know, right?
argue about getting an extra chance to sleep.
But I bet you'll pay more attention to them now.
Oh, for sure. All right, Annie.
Oh, I do. I always do, and I always tell my husband, "Guess what I dreamed last night?" And
Well, I've heard
for
of
5 minutes, and he must be bored out of his mind. But like,
I've heard of people
Yeah, just
keeping
take it,
dream
Google
journals.
it. What's that?
I've heard of people keeping dream journals. They literally have a tablet of paper and a tablet and a pen next to their side of the bed, and when they have these dreams, they literally get up and write them down so they remember them later.
That's what I tell people to do, because that way you can pick everything apart. You can pick the littlest words out of what you wrote apart and break it down even more. You ever have those dreams where you've been the same, you dreamt the same exact dream before you just go back into the same dream, or you
Yes.
have a dream where you end up you wake up, but when you go back to sleep, you're back in it and continue it?
Yes.
Isn't that awesome?
I like that, especially if it's a
sometimes-
really good one.
Sometimes those
right?
are awesome. Sometimes you don't want to go back to that one. I don't like spiders,
I don't either.
period.
Oh, I
And
have dreams about spiders.
so when I have a dream about a spider, really nasty ones, I wake up. And then, I'll do stuff to, kind of distract my mind and then go back, lay down to go back to sleep and then right back to that dream. Heck no.
Well, to see a spider in your dream indicates that you're feeling like an outsider in some situation. Or perhaps you want to keep your distance and stay away from an alluring and tempting situation.
Wow.
The spider is symbolic for overbearing mother figure in your life.
Interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
That is. I did not know that. That makes a difference. And of course, I know that a snake in your dream means that there's gossip going on. And for you, Annie, here you go. Tornadoes and hurricanes can be symbolic of extreme stress in your life and an inability to relax. The skies in dreams generally link to the future and the possibility of change. So if they are disturbed, then there is no clear outlook on how things will be. But tornadoes may symbolize lots of things. They may link to bad things that are about to happen and problems that you are anticipating, which kind of would make sense with, just recently having your knee surgery.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, but and then I like what you said, Christine, where we could, look deeper into this. Find out
absolutely.
what more is in the dream and probably put it all together, and you probably could figure out what exactly you are stressed about at that particular
Oh,
moment.
absolutely. Yes. Even colors. You dream in a certain color. You ever dream in a specific color?
No, I dream in color. I know that.
Yeah, I do too. I just
But
don't.
I mean, of one color more than the other, like purple. Then you just look up what I dream in purple. It will tell you. It's amazing. It's so much
I
information.
never noticed that.
I never
Yeah,
did either,
for-
but now I'm going to be wanting to look
Yeah,
at that
paying
tonight.
attention, right? We're all gonna have our dream journals.
Right? Everybody's going to be putting in. Okay, here you go for you guys listening, even in archives. Tell us what color you dream in. Now, obviously, you're not going to do it right now, but go to TMV Cafe's Facebook page and give us a comment and tell us what color you dream in. I'd really like to know. There's a good question that came in earlier, and I didn't get to ask it. And I've asked this one quite a few times. Do you find that there's a more active time for paranormal activity than versus others?
Not really. They say 3 o'clock, the witch's hour, is where a lot of it is supposed to happen or should happen. Usually you wake up, it's 3 a.m.
Right.
It's like symbolic. But whether it's 3 a.m. or 5 in the morning or 8 at night, I don't seem to notice a difference.
What about in the more active seasons?
Well, electricity plays a role. So when you have thunderstorms, in the air, the electric in the air, that definitely plays a role. Being around water plays a role. Water is like a magnifier. So you get a lot of paranormal activity around water.
See, I've always thought that maybe around Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, when everybody's kind of cooped up during the winter months,
not necessarily.
Huh.
I mean, I wouldn't think more of a celebration type of thing. You know what I mean? Like a holiday.
I just kind of pointed as that because this is when people are home more. Like in the summertime, people are taking vacations. They're not home. They're out. They're doing their thing. But in the winter months, when they're literally kind of getting, sick of being cooped in the house, they desperately got to get out. This is when they kind of be more overactive or more open to things happening because now they're home. You mean. Yeah, and this is something I've always thought might be the case but as you said, there probably really is no set time. It's just more observed because you're home.
Yeah, correct.
Here's an EVP that you mentioned earlier. And I said I would literally be out the door. Only because, it just would be one of those creep factors. This is the one that says, "We are behind you." Okay. Now, I will play it, and when we come back, I really got to know the story behind this one. So, here we go. This is "We Are Behind You" and the EVP. So
it's hard to make out.
Yeah, it is. Where were you when this one came out?
I was in a friend of mine in Salem at my second home, and his grandfather passed away on the first floor.
Oh.
So I go into the first floor and I do EVPs alone, and I get several that say, "Christina, we are behind you." I'll ask them, "Are you here with me? Is there anyone here with me? Or could you make yourself known or something?" And it's always, "We are behind you. We are behind you." Or in my own house. I get them a lot. "I'm standing behind you. Turn around." Stuff like that. But yeah, that one's a little hard to make out. But if you listen closely, you can hear it. It says, "We are behind you."
Wow. Well, here's another one that just says many responses and then 6, so I'm not sure what this one is.
Yeah, this one. Now, can I just, before you play this?
Sure.
This is in my bedroom, okay? And this is recent. I just did this one. And the many responses, this is what I get. I go to other places, and I get these, little sentences and words that you've been hearing on the EVPs, right? But you come into my house, and they're like talking up a storm. They're like, they want to just talk. So the many responses, you're not going to be able to make out anything they say. But just to hear what I have to deal with in my house is amazing. So go ahead, play it.
Okay. And, this one says... Now, I have a question before I play it. Why 6? Is this just 6 responses?
Oh, I asked how many spirits are in my home.
Okay.
And the only thing you'll make out of this whole thing is the word 6.
Okay. So here we go. We're going to play this twice, and then we'll come back.
How many spirits are here with us?
Do you know my name?
I'm
curious on something.
Isn't that scary?
Yeah.
That is so... I turned the lights on.
Did you really? That's scary because I get that in my bedroom. Okay,
Oh my
my
gosh.
bedroom. Okay, and I'm listening to this, and I'm just going, "Arr," you know, and I mean, it's making all this noise, and I'm like, oh my god, like it's just scary to listen to. But what's your question?
Who asked, do you know my name?
Probably me, right?
No, it was a guy's voice.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Okay,
It was probably my friend.
I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll play it again, and I'll stop it right after it says that. See if you can recognize that. Here we go.
How many spirits are here with us?
Do you know my name?
Alright, did you hear it right there? It was really faint.
It was really faint. I did hear that. To be honest with you, I don't know if I would. No, it was my friend. It was my friend, but I don't see why he would ask that so faintly. So it doesn't seem like it would be my friend. It seems like an EVP, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it was very clear.
It does. It was clear.
I mean, that was...
Because if it was my friend, it would be like, okay, how many spirits are here? And then I'd wait, and then 5 seconds later, he'd be like, okay, what is my name?
Right.
Or who, you'd hear him clearly. Like, that sounded like more of an EVP than in my friend.
Yeah, because, I've been in situations where, like it's an all-guy team or an all-girl team, and all of a sudden the voice that comes out is the opposite sex, and they're like, nobody hears that way. So who was that?
Yeah.
And so that's what brought my attention to that.
See, I do a lot of EVPs in my house. Like I have, to be honest, I was told I have a secret admirer. He has been with me my entire life. He is waiting for me to pass on.
Oh, wow.
So he can be with me on the other side. And he follows me wherever I go. And when people stay over my house, he messes with them. He makes them so they can't breathe, like strangles them when they sleep in my house, and he makes them not want to be here. Let's put it that way.
Right.
But I call him my admirer, and I try to get him to answer me. You know what I mean? Like I ask EVPs in my house just to see if I can get a response from him or something like that. And it seems like everyone that comes in my house is very sensitive to feeling him. They feel him watching him, watching you while you sleep. So my questions will be like, do you watch me when I sleep? Can you see me now? And these many responses are just, it sounds like alien talk.
Right.
And I get them in my house only. I don't get those anywhere else. I get like EVPs everywhere else, like normal ones. The ones I get in my house are what you just listened to. They just go nuts. And I get to live here, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm not affected by it. I don't feel them. I don't sense them. I'm not bothered by them. But people who are sensitive come into my house, they want to leave.
Yeah, see, that would make me... I don't know. Annie's already freaked out.
We're talking about freaked out. The EVP that's on fire, that I got at my mother's house. And the story behind... Do you want to play that one?
I'm trying to get it to come up, so bear with me here a second. Let me see if I can... It's looking for a device to play it on, so bear with me a moment. Because it's a WAV file, I think.
Wait,
oh. That was fast. Okay. We will get that to play again now that I got a device to play it on. Okay, go ahead. What were you saying?
All right, so, the one that says on fire, I caught that at my mom's house. And what happens is I don't like mirrors. Mirrors scare me. And mirrors can be portals. Okay? And I found out through a psychic medium that my mother's house had a spirit in the mirror in my son's room. And where the mirror sat, it was directly in front of where my mom sits in the kitchen. So what happens is basically she was going to bed one night and she found out that a ghost turned on her stove. But she has that stove where you click and then the flame comes out.
Right.
Well, if you don't click it enough, you can just let the gas come out.
Oh, yes.
So the house was filling up with gas.
Oh my gosh.
And she was scared. She was like, "Oh my God!" Like, because they were trying to, and we caught the EVP when I went over there to do an investigation. Come to find out about the mirror. Come to find out, it said in the EVP on fire, because it was trying to let my mother's house on fire.
Jeez.
That's freaky.
It is freaky. She
I
made me
never-
get rid of that mirror. I had to cover it in oil, do a cross, do a little ritual, get it out of there, cover it with a sheet, and take it out.
See, and the only reason I say it's that way, because my mother-in-law, we went over to her house one time, and she has one of those gas stoves. And, before she moved. And we walked in, and the house was just filled with gas. I mean, you couldn't breathe. You had to open a door and just literally air this house out, because it was that bad. And I always wonder, because she told us of an incident where she actually had somebody unroll the toilet paper from the hanging on the wall and brought it all the way out to the hallway. Not once, but twice. And I'm like, oh my God, I wish I could have put a camera over that to watch that happen.
Well, the thing with the cameras is going back to my mother's house, she was getting coffee every night spilled on her. She's like, Christina, I don't understand what's going on. I'm sitting there. Next thing I know, I'm covered in coffee. It hurts.
Wow.
Someone's trying to hurt me. So she has a recording. She records in her house constantly. One of those, recording things.
Uh-huh.
And we played back the tape, okay? And the only time that the coffee was about to spill on her, 4 minutes was gone. From the time it went to spill on her to the time she was on the floor wiping it up, it skipped. It didn't want you to see what was going on. It didn't want you to see it taking the cup and throwing it on her.
Wow.
So it skipped that part. It happened 3 times. And it was like, all of a sudden her sitting there to her on the floor wiping it up. 4 minutes of videotape was just totally gone. It was like, how can that just happen? How can it just not? The answer is it doesn't want to show you what it's doing to you. It doesn't want to be recorded.
Right. Interesting.
So you can try to record as much as you want, but it just goes to show you that it's very possible and things do happen.
Right. Well, let's do it was on fire, right?
On fire, yeah.
Okay, let's do that real quick and let's see what we hear.
We don't know.
Oh, wow. You can hear it trying to talk
Yeah.
over that guy.
Yep, on fire.
And it really is very clear. Did you hear it, Annie?
No, could you do that again?
Yeah, give me a second here.
We don't know.
Yeah, if you listen to the background of that guy talking, you can hear it say, on fire.
It's a male's voice, too.
And
Yep.
it's very clear.
Yep.
And I would have, I don't even have to see what it said. You could make it out. It says on fire, which is...
You want to hear another clear one? This one was from a Mars investigation that we did together with another team. It's Get Out, Ed from, and it says React.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense, Get Out, Ed from, React, but just how the clarity of the EVP is amazing.
Okay. Let's do that one right now.
Is your name George?
It even said other things in the background. It said more afterwards. But could you hear that? Just the way it says it. It's really weird.
Right. That, and where was that? And that was
That was at Salem at an investigation we did with Mars, Maine Afterlife Research Society, that we actually became family with now. And we were in the Salem house, my second home, and we were doing an investigation together, and that's what it came out as.
Wow. That's just crazy. I've heard a lot that of EVPs, but I think the one that still is interesting is the on fire.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's just trying, or that, or it's a passed away pyromaniac that is just, that's his favorite words, you know. But that's
well,
something.
Since I got the mirror out of my mother's house, no more stuff has been happening.
Does it make you? I don't know if you've heard about the mirror in New Orleans.
Myrtles.
Yeah.
Yeah, haunted mirror. Yep.
Do you ever think? And you mentioned the portals. Do you ever think that these would be like from all those different ones?
What?
Well, like the spirits that are haunting, like maybe the Myrtle Plantation mirror is the portal to other mirrors for other issues.
Their mirrors scare me. Like I had a sensitive, well, to answer your question, yeah, I mean, they're definitely portals.
Mm-hmm.
Water can act as a portal because it's a mirror.
Right.
You see what I mean? And it's just amazing. Like, I have this mirror in my house right now that my friends want me to cover with a blanket because they claim it's a portal and it's letting spirits in and out of my house.
It would be a mirror that's out the house.
Yeah, they're letting spirits in and out of my house, and that's why I'm getting all these many responses in my house, because there's so many spirits here, because my mirror in my bedroom is a portal.
Well, I mean,
and like mirrors wouldn't have to be like hanging up. They could be in an attic too, couldn't they?
They could be in an attic. Yep, they could be anywhere. It could be hanging up. It could be a handheld mirror. It could be anything.
Let me ask you this, because this is the one thing I've heard in the past as well. These spirits really can't come in unless they're invited. Is this true, or?
Well, you can, stop spirits from coming in your house, by, putting salt outside your door, or putting a cross up above your door, or stuff like that, or along your windowsills, but spirits can come in your house. I didn't invite the spirits in my house, and I have a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer that question is no, they don't have to be invited to come in your house, but you can invite them in many different ways. Using a Ouija board, I just invited spirits into my house.
Yeah, but you're inviting
Not
anything.
Evil spirits too. Yeah, exactly. Evil spirits too. You know what I mean? Not just nice spirits. But they can come and go as they please. I mean, I don't think that inviting them or not inviting them is going to make a difference, to be honest with you.
Right.
Because I didn't invite them into my house. I didn't invite my mirror to be a portal. I didn't invite. It sounds like demonic in my bedroom. Did you hear that? The one with many responses? It sounds demonic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like just listening to the noise. I have 18 of those in one session, 10-minute EVP session. I have 18 of those many responses, and I'm listening to this, and I'm like, this is my bedroom. This is nuts. This is crazy.
It makes you want to put your bedroom in another room now, huh?
Yeah, well,
Is your house old or sitting on a spot, or?
I mean, I've been in this place for 13 years, but it's been around. It's been around, but I wouldn't think it to be haunted. But you don't think any location would be haunted. And I don't think it needs to be haunted. Spirits can come and go as they please.
Well, Christina, we're going to have to invite you back. There's just way too much stuff to talk about.
Way too much.
But folks, if you are listening and you want to follow Christina, please do so. Go to her Facebook page, which is Haunted Salem HS, and or look up Haunted Salem. There is a group. When you go to the group, you can get all the websites from the 31 Days of Halloween, or Haunted 31 Days of Halloween. I got to make sure I say that right. Beyond the Grave Radio, Paranormal Grave Radio, which we're hoping will all come over here too.
Yes.
And then, of course, the wonderful teams that she's with, the YouTube channel, the Tumblr, the Instagram, the Twitter. I mean, it's there. We want you guys to be able to follow her as well. And, I got to thank you, Christina, for joining us today.
Oh, very welcome. And thank you for having me on.
Oh,
I was so excited.
It was an honor. And folks, if for those that are listening, we won't be live next week because, of course, it's Thanksgiving weekend. But we do want to remind you to tune in the following week because we've got some great shows coming up, including the MacGyver of Paranormal. He is going to be coming back. And if you like your haunted dolls, or just want to know if yours is or isn't, or where to get rid of it at, you want to tune in the month of December too, because somebody's coming back. So we got a lot more coming up for you guys, but so definitely tune in. And again, Christina, I got to thank you for joining us today.
Oh, very welcome. Very welcome.
Thank you.
And on that note, folks, stick around, because coming up right after this is the Miss Nina of NinaCon Radio, who I believe has a wonderful show on an Aerosmith tribute. That's right. You're going to be able to jam out to some Aerosmith. And of course, what rant does she have this week? I don't know, but we'll have to find out. So,
well, everyone have a very safe Thanksgiving.
Yes, most definitely. And just so you know, statistically, Thanksgiving, according to AAA, is the most dangerous holiday to drive. So if you are driving it this year,
be very careful.
Yes, please. We don't want to. We want to hear from you again, but not as an EVP. So
right.
But on that note, you guys have a great week. We'll see you next